Today, my guest is the one and only Lizz Slabaugh. I recently met her because I got my first ever DJ check at the Timbre Room.
Which you're so awesome.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, I have something to say, actually. So, I forgot my DJ check,
Yes.
that was for 3 days or whatever. It was a long time before I got it. But I was so excited. I didn't even know I was getting paid for that also, by the way. So, that was cool. Shout out Tavern for his release party, and shout out you for finding Tavern. He's an up-and-coming artist. He's been on the podcast, too. And anyways, I decided to go cash the check. Not cash it, deposit it at an ATM. Put the check in, it's loading, and I don't realize it ended, right? So I'm just digging through my car. I go back, and the ATM had taken my debit card and, sucked it in. So, it took my debit card, and I couldn't get it back. So now I have to order a new one. I didn't even know it could eat. I didn't know they could eat your cards.
Something up with that check.
Yeah. And I think I don't even know what I spent. Oh, I know what I spent it on. Food. Brunch.
I'm glad you didn't get food poisoning or something.
Yeah.
Just a trickle down effect more.
So you're not from Seattle. You just said you're from Michigan?
Yeah.
How long have you been in Seattle then?
I've been in Seattle. I moved to Seattle in 2018. I lived in Bothell for a little bit.
Ooh.
And then I lived in Olympia from 2015, 2017, math.
That's how you know Olympia. I'm that's far as fuck.
Far?
Yeah, Olympia. That's 2.5 hours, right? 2 hours?
I guess so. Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
It's true. I used to make that drive a lot.
To Seattle?
From Olympia to Seattle, yeah. Just to visit friends.
Damn.
But, yeah. So I guess I've been in the area for 6 or 7 years.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So, did you move here for booking? Because you're a booking agent.
No. My life is not linear whatsoever. Yeah, I was in the military until 2015, and then I got out. I was stationed up in Fairbanks, Alaska, and I was living in a dry cabin, kind of hippie community.
Whoa, you're in a hippie? Wait, we can't. I feel like you're about to glaze over that too for a second. So you lived in a hippie community?
It was very intentional.
What's a dry cabin?
It doesn't have running water. We had an outhouse. You had to shove your poop down after you pooped outside.
Yum.
In the outhouse during the winter, or it would turn into this tower.
Oh.
Pretty intense.
Did you have air fresheners or anything? Or?
Oh no, I mean we didn't shower. We were.
Oh, you're full on.
I was told I was the first hippie to be a helicopter pilot in the Army, so
holy
that's
shit.
The thing.
Wait, so how do you go from being in the military to being at a hippie commune?
I was living double lives.
Damn.
Yeah. So when I got out, I loved Fairbanks, but it was too much of an island. It took forever to get home in Michigan. And I was told that Olympia was a sister city to Fairbanks. So I moved down there. Thought I was going to helicopter school to be an instructor. And then I got into the open mic community down there. They do open mics. I don't know if they still do, but they used to. Monday through Sunday, essentially, you could go to an open mic, and there was this little group of us that did that every single night, and people started getting gigs here and there, and I was showing up to my classes all hungover and wanting to write music, and so I got out of that and eventually found my way up to Seattle. It's such a long story.
I'm here for it, though. So you're an artist? I really don't know anything about you. I just felt like you're such a cool person. We did a good connection, so I felt like I just had to have you on.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah. I worked for a Department of Transportation.
Hell yeah.
In Olympia, and
you were driving a bus?
I was in the aviation division, and I was a project manager.
Oh.
Doing all those fun airport projects and outreach about aviation and why that's important. And it just kind of kept itching at me. I really wanted to be an artist, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. And I was still in a very linear mindset. So then I was like, well, I'll go to animation school. So I applied to DigiPen, and I got in 2017. I quit my job with Department of Transportation. I can't say that word. I hate it. And yeah, I moved up to Bothell. I found this guy that owned a game company on Craigslist looking for someone to take his room in his house. And as a part of the living there, I could intern for his company. So I interned there as an artist. I went to DigiPen. And then I guess the second semester, it was January 1st, I decided I wanted to join a band.
Oh my gosh.
That was the 1st of 2018. So I got on Craigslist, and there was this band that was like, do you want to be a strong female leading an awesome indie rock band? We've got a spot for you. And I was like, hell yeah. And so I emailed them, and we went to Evolution Studios down in one of those, Renton. I don't know, Everett. I don't know,
those are total opposite places.
Somewhere close to Redmond. They all blend together over there. Yeah, and I tried out, and they wanted me to sing Creep by Radiohead.
Oh, that's a good one.
I practiced that, yelling.
Okay.
I can't do it right now.
Oh,
And
I'd love to hear
it was
that.
just the moment of yes, I've made it. And so we became a band. They already had a name for it. Unfortunately, it was, I'm about to talk shit about this band.
That's cool.
This is why I don't speak on behalf of anyone.
Except yourself.
Yes.
And nature, I'm guessing. Do you speak on behalf of nature?
Only if it's speaking through me.
This hippie.
Yeah, they came up with their name using a band name generator, and I just thought that sucked so bad. I was so embarrassed already.
What's the name?
It was the day one, and I was like, what are you doing? Don't do this.
The day one?
Day one of meeting them, and I asked them, where'd you get your band name from?
Oh.
They're a generator. It's we can't even come up with a band name. This is not not good. But it was Phoebe Kinks, and so I became Phoebe for a year, and then...
Oh, so you had to take that name too.
I didn't mean to, but it just kept happening at shows. People would call me Phoebe. So, I guess it wasn't obvious it was generated from a computer, but yeah.
Damn.
So I did that, and that's how I kind of got into booking. We weren't that great. We were a performance punk project.
Okay.
And so we couldn't just get shows by emailing venues. They didn't give a shit about us. So then I was like, well, I'll just be friends with everyone I possibly can and ask them to join their bills with them.
Yeah.
And so I just became a huge nerd about knowing everyone and every band and going to their shows and talking to them so that they just liked me, and then they would let our bands join. And
what year would this be around?
That was 2018 to 2019. And I loved that so much, I dropped out of animation school. I was working for the game company already. I was doing caricatures for this company called Over the Line Art. So I was thinking I was becoming a creative and being able to get paid for it. And let's see. Yeah, I broke up with that band after a while because we were not writing music together. I was writing music, and then they were putting their spin on it, and that wasn't enjoyable for me. We just didn't really get along.
Well, a name like that, Phoebe Kinks.
Phoebe Kinks. Yeah. This is
you have a crazy
long
life, it sounds
story.
like. Yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah, so then I thought that I was going to do my own project, but then this guy named John Woo, who I had met through going to shows, his band at the time was called Dead Honey, and they were just so good, but they only lasted for like 6 months. But I was just in love with their music. He reached out to me and told me he was working on a new project called J.O.Me, and he sent me a demo of something he was working on. And the song that he sent me had this like just crazy violin intro and then just turn into heavy garage rock. And I was like, this is dope. And he asked me to play bass, which I never had played bass before. But I said, yeah, like I wasn't going to say no and not be in this band. So I played bass in J.O.Me.
Wait, how'd you... What? Did you have to learn? Like, how'd you learn how to...
He just, like, gave me... I mean, he wrote the songs, so I was just performing them.
Yeah.
So I just spent hours with him teaching me the songs.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was fun. And I guess that led to me being able to connect with some DJs at KXP, and it also gave me maybe a little bit more credibility because J.O.Me was pretty good.
Are they still around?
John's taken it as his own personal project. He creates with his partner, Ruka, and they live in Reno, Nevada right now.
Very nice.
Pandemic changes. Yeah. So, and their music is still playing on KXP, so you should check them out.
I will. I have to now.
Yeah. And I think that kind of gave me the foot in the door, though, of being able to work in venues because they knew J.O.Me. Like, you could reach out to most venues and ask to play, and you would be put on a bill. So I interned at Chop Suey for like five months maybe. I started like October, November of 2019 until the shutdown. And I also started hosting shows at Timbre Room with a DJ from KXP, and then the shutdown happened, and then I decided I needed to move away. Because it was kind of like the music community in Seattle felt like the first place that I actually felt like I belonged.
Yes.
Like, people are just really friendly. You can talk to anyone at shows. And when the shutdown happened, it just felt like all of that was gone.
Yeah.
And that was really tough. I've been thinking about that more, just like, why did I leave? Like, I love this place and I love the people that live here, and I do have friends, but I think when that was immediately taken away.
Oh, you mean you literally left? Like,
oh, yeah. That's when I moved back to Michigan for a year.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you just meant like, yeah, I just had to step away from music. No, you genuine. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I moved away, and I didn't know, when music was going to be a thing anymore, or again.
Yeah.
So, but then, yeah, I guess music started reappearing, or live music, like during the summer, and I got asked to come back and be a talent buyer assistant for Chop Suey.
Because you interned.
Yes.
Got it.
And yeah, and I got along with that talent buyer. But they offered me, I don't want to talk bad about them, but they offered me a salary that just was not going to work out for living in Seattle. And I like counter offered, and they ghosted me.
What?
And I already had like my moving plans ready. I was coming out here no matter what at that point.
Damn.
But luckily that talent buyer gave my information to Timbre Room, and they were looking for a booker for live music, and so I got contacted for that, and it just kind of seemed like it fell into my lap from there, and I just ran with it. So, yeah, that's how that kind of all came together. That's
a crazy story. What the hell? Did you expect any of this to happen when you first started music at all, or?
No. When I was 17, I wanted to own my own music venue, which is still like my dream, but that seemed like a pipe dream at the time. Like, there was no path to do anything creative when I was in high school.
In Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Damn. So you grew up like all your life in Michigan?
Yeah, I grew up in Michigan, went to school in Michigan, and didn't leave until I was in the military.
Damn.
Yeah.
Do you have family in the military or?
My sister was in the Army for 8 years.
Is that what encouraged you to be in the military or?
No, it was just it was a way to pay for college. I was an athlete in high school.
Ooh.
And it seemed like kind of the only path that seemed like I was going to get something out of at the end point, I guess. Like I would have a job after college and I would be able to go to college and have it paid for and not have a ton of student loans. So it made sense, but I never really was in line with the values of the military. So I think that's what like led to living a double life and eventually I got out 2 years early.
Wow.
Because it wasn't aligned with my values.
Wait, what does that mean? Does that mean you got kicked out or something?
I resigned.
I was like, it doesn't align with my values.
To get out. Yeah, I was a helicopter pilot, and the helicopter that I flew was discontinued in 2015.
Why?
Because it was a reconnaissance helicopter, so it was replaced with drones.
Technology's taking your jobs.
Yeah, but I wasn't too upset about it because I was like, "Oh, you don't have a job for me. I'll go ahead and leave."
Dang.
And they're like, "Okay." So
you flew helicopters, though. That's insane.
Yeah.
Were you ever scared of heights? Or
no, until I got out. Until I was in school to be an instructor outside of the military. There was just one day, I don't know, like what happened. Maybe I just stopped liking flying as much. But yeah, we were flying and I looked down and I was like, we could fall. Oh. And that's really far down there. And I had never thought about it. I don't know, like maybe getting older, like I was turning like 26 at the time. So I don't know. I think you become more cautious and aware of your life, but
Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm terrified of heights. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But how did you choose to become a helicopter pilot out of like anything you could do in the military?
Oh gosh. It's so loaded.
You're just full of stories.
Well, one, I realized that I could do it, and I didn't know that that was an option. But when I was in high school, my like high school crush, like white buffalo person.
What's a white buffalo
person? A white buffalo is like this person that you had a crush on or like really liked, but you never got to like experience it fully.
Okay.
You never got to like play out the crush.
Okay, and it's called White Buffalo.
Yeah, but we were friends, and
shit! So you got friend zoned?
Yeah.
Ah.
But not even like a good friend, like a shitty friend.
Oh, fuck that person, right?
Yeah, but he was a pilot. He got his pilot license when he was 16 or 17.
Okay.
And took me flying. We like would fly around the stadium.
Wait, you trust a 16-year-old to? What the fuck?
I've always kind of been a thrill seeker, I guess.
God.
Yeah, we would like go and like swoop down over the football games.
What?
And
is that illegal?
No. And that I don't know if I loved flying or I just really liked that guy, but I thought I wanted to like marry a pilot, which I don't want to marry anyone, but now.
That sounds romantic though. You're just flying over a football game with your crush.
Right.
That's actually crazy.
It was such a tease.
Wow.
Yeah. And so yeah, I thought I just wanted to like marry or like have a thing with the pilot, not be one. But then during our graduation party, or his, we were standing around the fire.
Oh, so he's an older guy?
Oh no! This is when we were seniors and
but he was having his own
high school, and he was having his party. Yeah, I was telling everyone that I was going to go into ROTC and join the military, and everyone was like, "What? What? You would never do that? Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then a helicopter like flew over our heads. And Josh, the pilot boy, that White Buffalo Crush person, was like, Liz, I would marry you if you became a helicopter pilot.
Oh, that's a total tease there too. Damn.
So I did. But we never got married.
Damn. Did you send him your like certification? Be like, hey, I did
yeah,
it.
I definitely told him. Yep.
And he's like, maybe if you're something else now. Damn.
Yeah.
So you got out of the military and then you when I'm still confused about this this artist commune. What about this hippie commune thing? I'm very interested in this part. So the military and then the commune and then Seattle.
We're not talking about booking at all.
We'll get into that, but this you got some crazy stuff.
Yeah. So the hippie commune cabin, that was the whole time while I was living in Fairbanks, 2012 to 2015. So yeah, I lived in that cabin and then I went to work.
Wait, so for 3 years?
Maybe 2.5 because it took a little time to find them. But
what do you mean find them? God, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, I met one of the girls that lived at the cabin, volunteering at like a teen homeless shelter.
Okay.
We both did, and we just like connected, and then I looked at the cabin was awesome.
Okay.
It was 2 stories in the middle of the woods. It had like a blue roof. It looked like a castle. It was called the Cloudberry Castle, and we had like bedrooms around the balcony. And the whole floor was open at the bottom, so we'd have a bunch of house shows.
Oh, shit.
And we, like, set up a helicopter cargo net, like, where the opening was at the top floor, and everyone could just, like, jump there and, like, lay down and watch the show from the top. So it was, like, really cool. Yeah, and we could grow veggies outside.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
What's your favorite vegetable?
Let's see. Spicy greens.
Spicy? That's a type of vegetable?
It's like spicy lettuce, essentially.
And it's just made that way?
Yeah, it just grows spicy.
Did you grow spicy lettuce?
I have. Yeah, I have, actually.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Does it grow in Seattle, too?
Yeah, it's really easy to grow. It loves growing.
There we go.
Yeah.
And so how do people just come in and out of this? Is it a commune? Is that the right word?
No, it was just a roommate situation, but it was just very intentional. I mean, like, you had to go get your water from a water station and yeah. I guess I don't know what to say about what makes it a hippie commune other than people were just like very kind and friendly and gave each other everything and just like a very open community.
And then why'd you leave?
I was still very like overachievy, trying to like be very expansive in my life, and it just felt pretty stagnant at the time, and trying to fly to Michigan from Fairbanks was just a pain in the ass.
How long is that fly?
Well, you have to fly down to Seattle first, usually.
Oh.
And I think that's like 2 or 3 hours, and then obviously probably a layover, and then it's around 4 or 5 hours to Michigan.
Okay, so do you think that like planted a seed in your head because you flew to Seattle so much, or?
Honestly, I never thought I would live in Seattle. Like, I thought Portland would be the place.
Why?
I would never live in Portland.
Portland sucks.
Yeah. Ugh.
It's like fake.
Gosh.
Fake hippie.
They just, yeah.
Fuck Portland.
Yeah, fuck Portland. I would never live there.
So why do you stay in Seattle?
Why do I?
Yeah.
I love the community here. In the music scene, we are just so spoiled.
Yeah. Like,
not even just the talent, but the way that the community is so awesome. Like, it's regenerative. There we go.
Oh, wait. That means like, doesn't that mean like when you cut off your finger and it grows back?
Yeah, kinda.
So you can cut off or is it maybe it's rejuvenated? What is that one? Rejuvenating. Is that the
rejuvenating, regenerating? One of those.
I don't think it's regenerating. It's like a chameleon or like a gecko, like its tail cut off.
Well, maybe the thing that I like about it is, so you do podcasts, you DJ,
yeah,
and you also go to shows.
Yeah.
And Nate Lewis, he's a podcaster.
Yeah.
But he's also a drummer. He posts the weekly calendars for shows. And he goes to shows.
And
I go to shows.
He's from Miami, too. Isn't that crazy?
Right.
Crazy guy. Wait, so are there some artists that do all that but don't go to shows? Is that like a...
No, what I'm saying is that pretty much all artists also go to everyone's shows. And so we're like this economy that exists in Seattle. We support each other.
To a certain extent.
And we also perform. Yeah, there's some kinks in the system.
Yeah.
But it is pretty awesome how hard we nerd out on each other.
Yeah. I think that's especially the band scene, though.
Maybe. Well, yeah. I guess what I've discovered from booking hip-hop and pop
I feel
artists...
like I want to talk about... Actually, continue. One second.
We can return. Just this.
Yes.
Is that there is more like collaboration among artists, it seems like, in hip-hop and the pop scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll reach out to someone and they'll be like, yeah, I want to play. And also you should contact all these other people. And then you realize they've all like collabed on a song together or some kind of project. And that is a little different than bands.
Because they're like full-on groups of people. I feel like it's harder to collab.
True. Yeah.
Maybe if it's like lead singers working together, or I don't know how that...
I guess you could like pull someone on for, if they're a singer or something. But it was just like an interesting realization that I don't get that as much from bands.
Is that a recent discovery of yours?
Probably around August was when I was like, oh,
okay,
hip hop scene's cool.
Yeah. So you mostly know about bands, though.
Yeah, that's where I started out, but I'm learning more about the other scenes.
Wait, did you go to Freakout Fest?
I didn't. No.
That was so fun. That was crazy.
Yeah, I've been wanting to. I just haven't. It just hasn't worked out with my schedule to be able to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think bands have the best time with like live performing and getting gigs. I think hip hop artists kind of struggle with that, though.
As far as like getting gigs with venues?
Yeah. And like what we talked about on Wednesday, it's not really a draw for hip hop in Seattle, from what I've seen at least. And you know, like a lot of my friends have been in hip hop in Seattle for like a decade plus, and they're not really seeing any like, what is that? Fruits of your labor payoff?
Yeah. It just seems like I feel like I could almost go off on, but I'm just like a white person complaining about hip hop scene and access to that. But I will say, like, for the High Dive to give you a Wednesday to have hip hop come play in a tech bro town, that's not how you do it.
That's right.
You know, you're not going to get draw. And yeah, I think that was probably a good move for you. And that is just such a I want to just say like a backhanded opportunity almost. Like it's not really an opportunity for hip hop to have any kind of role in Fremont. It needs to start out somewhere that's just more accessible and where there are people that want to go to a hip hop show on a Wednesday night. But like we chatted a little bit about the station in Beacon Hill, and they do like wine and R&B nights on Wednesday, and those are hot. Like those happen. So it's about the accessibility and like who are you going to get to come out on that day, and does that match what you're going to program?
Mm-hmm.
So
and how do bands do it? Is it just that there's more people who want to see live music?
That's a good question. I mean, I think that if you are a band that's been playing around Seattle for a while, you know what venues to book and when and who you want to play with. So there's a lot of aspects that you think about before you say yes to a gig. And it can probably be hit or miss as far as are people going to come out or not.
Right.
But I probably in general, I mean, there probably is just more of a draw for rock. I'm not sure, or for bands, live nights. But I just haven't been able to like explore that as much.
Wait, do you think bands have like genuine followings in Seattle, or is it that people like just average people like live music and that's why they're coming out to these shows?
I think that's a part of it.
Okay.
I think that's a little harder for hip hop or pop artists, even if they just have like backing tracks and there's no like live aspect. And there's been a loss of like MCs or hip hop and the mixing of like art and dance into those nights. They just become, maybe they like follow the same structure as a live performance night, like bands, and that's not a good structure for hip hop or a pop night.
They're different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you do get the live aspect, but like, I don't know, watching someone up on stage with just like a laptop behind them and you're not there to dance, like it's hard to like get into it.
Yeah.
There just has to be some kind of component where you feel like you're getting more out of the production.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, like Stella Mar, they had the backing tracks, but even having Nick up there with the guitar, and there's something about hearing Stella Mar live that you cannot get from listening to her from her tracks. Like seeing her live blew me away, and I was not expecting that.
Though, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. What have you learned about live shows? You performed live shows.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I've learned like which gigs I would take and what is important to me out of live shows and being a musician in general. My J-O-Me, when John started that, he wanted to be famous in a year. And I mean, he did a pretty good job within a year as far as getting his music out there in the world. But that just became less important to me, and that I guess that's probably my lens on music in Seattle and why I like this concept of artists going to shows and also being artists and supporting each other. It just seems more powerful, and that's just kind of where I'm coming from. Like as a booker, I still feel like a community member of the music scene first, and that's where my booking approach comes from, is that I want to support the community and artists.
When I met you, you had a beanie on. I didn't realize you even had hair. Wait, so do you think there are bookers that probably aren't connected to the music scene though, and they're just like looking at numbers and things like that?
Definitely. And maybe they have to be like the Crocodile. I don't really know what their lives are out of booking. But you know, the Crocodile is a huge venue now, and they have to make money. Yeah. And I don't think that they're as involved like as musicians. So it is more numbers. And I have worked with other bookers that it's more about the numbers. And I think that's important. I think that's important, especially for musicians that are trying to grow out of the Seattle music scene. You do have to think about that. But I think artists are very aware of some ways that venues interact with artists that everyone was hoping would change after the pandemic that hasn't. And I don't feel like there's a very strong connection between venue and artist.
Can you break down some of those like examples?
The payment for artists is not good generally. And that can come out of the draw. Like if you don't get people to show up, you're not going to get paid. But there's always this argument as far as like whose responsibility does that really fall on for getting the people to show up to the shows. And like working at Timbre Room, and I'm just starting live music there. There's been live music that happens, but it's been mostly on a showcase basis. When I was hired in July, it was more like we're always going to have live music here every week in some capacity, and that's different. And we don't have people following Timbre Room for live music. Like, it's an electronic music complex.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's more like DJ based?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you're actually, aren't there some bars that aren't considered venues, but some venues, most venues have bars. But so Timbre Room's actually like a venue.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Timbre Room's a venue. You could go to the Little Maria's pizza shop and drink and
that
eat
pizza was fucking
It's
good.
so good.
I was not expecting it to be that good.
Yeah. God, I love it. Yeah. Yeah, if you perform there and you do a promotion for your show, you get a free slice.
Oh.
We just made that little change.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, but if there's not a show happening at Timbre Room, then it's not open.
What about so DJs have to build their name up to get people into that Timbre Room, I'm guessing, right? You can't just be like, oh, there's a DJ playing tonight, and everyone's like, oh shit, let's go see that.
Yeah, but most of those nights are like promoter organized. So there's a promoter that gets certain DJs, and then that night becomes known for like this style of music. So you know that if you go on, like a third Thursday of the month, you're going to get this type of music, and it's ran by this promoter.
Like I was in Fremont Sunday, and I walked past the High Dive, and it was sold out, but it was because it was like a Queen cover band. So do you think when people know what to expect versus like a local artist, they're more likely to show up?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if you know, yeah, every third Thursday this is going to happen, you can count on it. It's easier to go to because you know what to expect. I'm repeating what you just said. And I think that could play out in the live music scene a little bit. Like, maybe it's like the venue is known for rock music. So, if you go to that venue, you will hear rock music. And that's that. I also book at Darrell's Tavern, and
where's that located?
It's located up in Shoreline.
Okay.
And that's known for like punk, rock, glam, that kind of style of music.
Wait, what's glam?
It's like kind of more like dancey, glittery punk.
So there's actual glitter? Or is that just like a feel?
If I picture glam, there better be glitter. Like, I think so. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. But other venues, you don't know what you're going to get, and like names don't really tell you. So I think that can be a little bit of a risk for like smaller shows, and especially with the prices of shows being like $10. Like, I know it's not that much, but it is if you are going to shows pretty often.
So, but isn't that a thing where like, if you're paying too little, people don't want to, and if you're charging too little, people don't want to show up, and if you're charging too much, people don't want to show up either? I heard that's a thing. Is that?
I don't know about the too little, but there's like, you're probably leaving money on the table at this point. Like 8 versus 10. Everyone's going to pay $10 that was going to pay $8 to come to your show.
And is that like when people are starting out, should they be charging 10, or is there different?
I think that if you think you're ready to play a show, you should be at a point where you can charge $10 for someone to show up, or find other avenues like playing at house shows that can be $5. But to play at a venue and to be able to get paid, I mean, there's a lot of reasons that you can choose to play at a venue, but if you're looking to get paid at a venue and you play, it should be $10.
And then how does an artist make money for people who haven't thrown events? Like, how does an artist make money by performing at a venue?
Well, like marketing their show is big. Having relationships with people that will come out and see your show. I mean, that's getting the draw to come to your shows. Is how you get paid, essentially. Because you usually get some kind of percentage of the door.
Okay.
Sometimes the venue takes 25% to pay for their venue fees, or they'll pay you a 100% door split after they take out the fees for the venue. So it can be pretty small amount if you only have like 10, 15 people showing up.
Yeah. And then drink sales also. Like, how does do you know much about like the Vera Project?
Mm-hmm.
So how does the Vera Project stay afloat? I know besides like I'm part of the Vera Project. I understand they have like sponsors and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But like, how does a venue that doesn't charge drinks or even sell drinks still get like a good draw versus a venue that can count on a bar?
I do think that comes more from sponsorship, fundraising, and that kind of support. They could have investors that are just invested in the mission of that place. I don't know outside of that how you get your venue to stay afloat unless it's a pretty small place and you have the draw.
So bars are important?
They are. Oh. Yeah, I've actually I booked a show at Darrell's Tavern this past weekend with Mr. Dinkles, Dog Patch, and Bitch Fits. And it was
some crazy names.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I never thought I would hear those three names in a sentence ever.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it was such a good show though. I was so happy about it. I was like, man, I'm going to make this place cool, because when I was in a band, I would never play there. And so that has been like my mission. Like, I'm going to make this place cool. I want people to want to play here. And I felt like I'm doing it that night. But then, and it was a good door split for the bands. I was really happy. I was going to be able to pay them. And, but the owner was there and he's like, yeah, like they're all really good and I'm glad they're getting paid, but young people don't drink. So we didn't make any money. And I was like, oh shit.
Oh, fuck. Put
it on the Zoomers tab. Like,
damn. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, and I don't know what that is. I guess I have noticed that.
It's expensive as fuck.
That's what I was thinking. Like, yeah, you pay $10 to go to a show. Like, that doesn't leave a lot of money to spend on drinks.
Yeah.
So, but that's important. Yeah, the bar sales are the moneymaker. The show really isn't unless you're like a big venue. So. And
some venues help promote, or is that not all venues though, or?
It's not. It depends on like the scale of promotion. Like I would say the standard, and a lot of this is just talking about like small to mid-sized venues that like your typical local band will play at. The promotion is like, you know, Instagram, getting it on a ticketing website, maybe The Stranger, but I think The Stranger's like dying.
Yeah.
Getting on Facebook event.
Nate Lewis's.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't really know that is like how you get people to come out. I don't. I think it's the relationship building and people like actually wanting to go see people perform.
So it's like word of mouth almost?
I think so. Because like I said, like I think like 75% of people that show up to shows are artists.
Dude, yeah. Maybe even 80. Let's push it to 80.
I was going to say 80. But yeah, or like
But this is in Seattle also.
Yeah.
And if we haven't clarified, Liz is a Seattle booker.
Yeah.
As of right now, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think you just need to have relationships with other artists so that they want to come out and support you.
So what's the difference between like live shows and small venues in Seattle versus like LA? Is there just like more people in LA and it's just the mindset? Because I feel like it would probably be easier to get people in LA to go to a show.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, LA is more of an entertainment industry.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah, I don't think Seattle doesn't have any like huge entertainment companies that I can think of. I guess Amazon's trying to tap into that.
Oh, they need to get all their employees. Some venue needs to link up with Amazon and get like, if your employees come, they get 15% off a ticket or something.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of Amazon bands too. So.
Wait, what do you mean? Amazon
people
bands?
That work for Amazon that want to be musicians part-time.
But can they?
Which.
No.
They can afford everything from what's the big guitar center? They usually show up with all of Guitar Center on the stage and then like press buttons.
It's like when you have all the equipment but you don't know how to use it almost. Like, or
Yeah, they can probably like afford a bunch of lessons too and like someone to write their music. I don't know.
that's wild. Yeah,
But
I've been thinking about
there are
that
a lot of them.
One of my friends, he goes to UW and he's in software engineering, and like he was telling me about like his first contract he's going to get right out of UW, like right out of college. I'm like, holy fuck. I was like, so what's your dream job though? He's like, I want to be a producer.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit. My friend who wants to be a producer probably has a better chance of actually making it versus my friends who are near homeless just pushing their music. It's because he has the money now.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, and it seems like a pretty common path for people that get into the tech industry at some point in their life. Maybe this is too general, but I've seen it happen a very large amount of times of like getting into these corporate-y, maybe because I'm projecting, like this happened to me. Okay. You get into like these corporate-y like careers, and then you're like missing out on this creative side of you, and then you're like, I'm just gonna quit everything and be a creative. And then you have all that money saved up, and yeah, it's a lot easier, but you're also like kind of fucked up because you're like 26 or 27, like rediscovering this whole creative part of you.
It's like a midlife crisis.
Yeah, almost. Definitely.
Damn. Those are the ones that should just be funding everyone else, you know?
Yeah.
There you go.
But I guess either way, I just feel like the core of it should be that you love making music, right. And hopefully like that is rewarding in whatever situation that you're in. That's
another thing I do see when I had Nate on. That was a long podcast. It was like 2.5 hours or something crazy.
Whoa.
It was just spur of the moment too, because I produced his, and I was like, want to do mine? He's like, sure. But something that's not all bands, but it kind of seemed like a lot of bands do it for the love versus like a hip-hop artist or maybe even pop. They have clear intentions that they want to be like rich and famous.
Yeah.
But it also comes down because like it's an individual person, you know, and even just from a social media perspective, people want to follow an individual person instead of a band. So,
yeah.
So that's why like you'll see like huge bands that don't have like millions of followers, but then you'll see like some TikTok influencer and they have millions. It's a weird mix. So I don't know why individuality wants more money than a group.
Yeah. Well, I kind of wonder even like you could have 1 million followers, but I don't know if that's even meaning that you're like making a living off of.
It's all this stuff is so relative.
Yeah.
Like I don't have that many followers and I still get into cool places.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think all that social media and streaming numbers don't really mean much.
Yeah. The Spotify Unwrapped just came out, and I know like all of us are getting on our little soapboxes about it. But Gabriel Teodros like posted about, I think he was in the hip hop scene for a bit. He works at KXP.
Okay. I don't know.
But he like posted about like your Spotify streams are not, you don't get money from that. Like you could have millions of streams and you're making like a pretty good living, but it's equivalent to like you selling 15 CDs and people taking those 15 CDs and then like dispersing those to thousands of people. Like if you think about how many plays that song is getting to like the ratio of what you're actually making. And it was pretty sobering, and he just said like, I got my life back when I stopped pursuing like hip hop music as my career, and it just became a part of my life, like as something I love. And like for him, he found another outlet that is still creative, but it's not like trying to make it as an artist. And so Shayna Shepherd, she is starting to like grow immensely now and taking off in her career, but I've never gotten the vibe that I she wants to be successful, but you can just feel it that she loves music so much that that's all she wants to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's so different than I want to be famous as a musician. Because once you start seeing you're not going to be famous, it's like it drops.
But how does that
off.
happen? Do you think how do you not become famous? Do you think anyone can be famous if they work hard enough?
I don't like that myth of like work hard and you're going to get something out of it. But I do think that probably you're going to see opportunities more often if like you love what you're doing and you want to do more of it. You're going to see opportunities to do more of it. But, you know, like the thing at the High Dive that you got asked to do for your friends, that seemed like a blessing.
Yeah.
Huge opportunity. And there are those opportunities that kind of just put you into a loop, or like working upstream, like you're never really going to see a payoff from that. So it also takes a little bit of like judging your opportunities, and if that is going to give you something that you want and that you enjoy. If they enjoy that and they don't get draw, like that's still awesome.
Yeah. Dude, my guy Nestor was the most happy camper.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was a great show. But I feel like it, I don't know. I'm very I feel like I'm a creative guy, but I feel like I lean more on logical stuff. So, which I feel like most people I feel like are either logical or like creative, and I feel like I'm blessed enough that I'm a little bit of a mix.
Yeah.
But I think you generally do need a plan if you do want to be like famous or successful. And I think there are tons of distractions that happen that people don't want to talk about. I feel like a lot of people fall into the same like hole, and no one wants. Maybe they're embarrassed about it or don't want to tell people. But I feel like a lot of people get stuck by the same roadblock, in my opinion, at least. I don't know.
What would you say that is?
Well, my opinions on roadblocks, I was telling my family about this also. I'm probably a psycho, honestly. Like, I don't dream like fantasy dreams. I dream about like it's like a choose your own adventure. Have you ever read like a choose your own adventure book or anything? It's like when I dream, it's literally like me deciding like how an event can unfold. If I have like something that's going on the next day, it's like unfolding how that event can happen and all these different possibilities.
Yeah.
And then I wake up and most of the time I remember that dream and I'm like, I should do this. It's like so I don't like I'm really big into having like a plan versus letting things happen.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't think so. With that being said, my idea of roadblocks are very like almost like fucked up and like like it would offend a lot of people.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Like, I don't know. Like maybe we'll talk. I feel like it's an after part. You know, like what I mean.
Fair.
Like I'm so like in my zone on what I want to do with my life that like I don't know. Maybe my mindset on things will change as I get older, but my mindset on roadblocks right now have in my dreams led me in the right direction so far.
Cool.
So I'm confused about the difference between like a booker and a promoter. I feel like can't they be the same thing?
Yeah, and honestly, I'm still kind of trying to figure it out because it can get a little blurry. Like we have people that don't work. I've worked with people that don't work in the venue, but we don't do our deals with them that are the same way that we do deals with promoters. But essentially, like a promoter designs their event, and I mean they have the choice of what venue they're going to go to, but like the event exists in its own little like bubble, and then they find a place to put it. Versus like someone like me, like I'm just going out and finding bands or performers to just perform in the venue. It's not under like a specific event. We're just filling dates on the calendar.
Do you eventually want like specific dates for things?
I mean, I would love to not book on Wednesdays. But But for the most part, I work for the venue and I fill the dates as the venue wants them to be filled. Versus a promoter comes in and is like, I have this cool event. This is how much money we think we can bring in, and these are the performers. And we have pretty standard deals for them. Like, it's either like you pay a venue fee and then you get the door split, or you get a door split and the venue gets a percentage of that. And
that's a question, actually.
Yeah.
How do some of my friends have to pay venue fees and others don't? Like, when is that decision made?
It's just all dependent on the venue. And like right now it's probably going to change at some point, but we made the decision at Timbre Room for the live bands to just get 100% of the door. We don't charge a venue fee because we're not bringing in the draw for people, really.
Right.
People aren't, like I said, they're not coming to Timbre Room to see live music, and they don't know that that's actually happening. So the responsibility is more on the band. So just didn't see it as being fair or motivational to be taking a portion of that. But if you go somewhere like Chop Suey, I don't know what they're doing now, but when I interned there, we would take venue fees out, and then the artist would get the split that's remaining. But Chop Suey is very well established as a live music venue. You know, you can go there almost any night and see live music.
Yeah.
And they have like at least some kind of standard for like what the music is going to be. It's going to be of some kind of quality.
Yeah.
When you show up there.
Like touring acts come there.
Yeah.
All the time.
Definitely.
So, did you guys just recently decide to do live music at the Timbre Room?
Yeah, it's been like they've done showcases before in Crybaby Studios out of Capitol Hill.
Oh, I've been there. It's the one underground, right?
They might have done shows in Crimwork, but Crybaby is Practice Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's down. It's like underground Seattle.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You haven't been to Crybaby Studios? Wait, Crybaby Studios?
I don't remember going underground, but maybe it was a while ago.
I went to over the summer. There's like a door and you go down.
Oh.
It's like,
yeah, I guess
like
maybe I
crazy
did go down.
hallways.
Yeah.
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 There might be a upstairs.
Huh.
But one of my friends got like a residency there for a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Well, they used to do showcases at Timbre Room, Crimwork.
Oh.
So kind of events like that would happen there.
Can you break down what a showcase is real quick?
So showcase is just essentially like Crybaby or some kind of like, it's like a promoter, just choosing artists, like curating a bill for a show and is showcasing. Like Crybaby would pick artists that practice at that space. So it's kind of like a little community coming into a venue.
Oh, so a showcase is different from a concert, because like a concert, you're coming for a specific person and there's openers, or how would...
Yeah, because like a show usually, I could probably twist a lot of it into a showcase, but the show is just like a bill that gets put together because artists are available to play. Versus something like a showcase is more intentionally curated under some kind of umbrella like theme. Like we did a loose solo showcase, which was just solo artists. So it's a word that you can throw on. Like, I think I chatted a little bit with you during Nestra's show about an experience when you book a show, when you're promoting a show, to be able to tell people they're going to have an experience that they're not going to have otherwise can be a good marketing attempt.
Or like the gala coming up. Like Emerald City, they have to be in a suit and everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So calling it a showcase makes it feel like more curated, more of a community feel to it, and you're getting something that is like well packaged.
And you put bills together, right?
Yeah, I put all of the bills together.
And then how do you choose what artists?
So I like to approach it in a way that these bands or artists are going to sound good together. But sometimes I like to be collaborative, so I do ask the artists if there's people that they like performing with. And if they give me artists, I prefer to just go that route and work with them on people they want to perform with. Otherwise, it's just me knowing about bands. I do a lot of research all the time.
Yeah.
And trying to put together something that's going to sound good and also get a pretty good draw for the night.
And what are some quick like do's and don'ts for people trying to throw events?
I mean, if I put it through like if you're a band trying to book a show,
Sure.
I would think about what day and who likes to come out to your shows. Think about just going ahead and building the bill yourself, especially if you're a smaller band. Like you writing a venue and saying you want to play a show, you never know when that's going to happen because they're only going to put you on like an opener slot. But if you reach out to bands that you like performing with and have a better draw or an equal draw or whatever, if you're able to just go at a venue and say, I have this bill, these are who performing, this is our draw for a weeknight, weekend, this is what we sound like, here's our band promo photo, a booker is way more likely to say, yeah, let's do this. So I would just say like trying to cover your part of making sure that you're going to have draw for the night, and that you have things organized so it's easy to work with the booker and you can get the announcement out for your event as soon as possible. Like you should be booking your events out 60 to 90 days so that you have enough time to plan everything and to promote your show as heavily as possible.
And how do you go about promoting? I heard there's like you're supposed to do it like 3 different ways or something for it to get into people's minds. Isn't that a thing?
Interesting. I've heard things like that. I've heard like visually you have to see something 7 times before it affects you, like makes you want to learn more about it. Yeah, I don't know about the 3 things. What are the 3 things that you heard about?
One was like social media, one was flyers. I think the other was just like word of mouth.
Okay.
And then
that makes sense.
And then another thing is like it has to be on like, well, there's like multiple, like, and then you could break down those 3 things and you have to do like multiple things within those 3 things.
No, that makes sense. Yeah.
Like social media, it has to be on you. If you're the one throwing the show, you're a show. Your guests show, like they're people performing with you, and then there has to be ads, and then so those are 3 different things there, and then maybe any blogs or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still trying. I want to start doing shows, but so I've been just soaking up information.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, you know, I mean, it probably helps to ask yourself like what makes you want to go to a show. I'm more likely to go to a show that someone's asked me to go to, and not like passive, like you've just been invited by someone on Facebook to go to this event.
I think artists should just get off Facebook and Twitter in general, you know? Especially in Seattle. There's just so much drama that always gets caused on there. I'm like, there's no need.
That Seattle musicians page is pretty entertaining.
Wait, so how do you feel about COVID? Like, do you really think this is gonna get? I'm not trying to get dark here, but I've been really thinking about this. Like, so if everyone's vaccinated and goes to a show, does that mean no one's gonna get COVID if they go to a show?
Oh no. I mean, I'm not a scientist. I don't.
You look like
this
one.
is like
just kidding. No, you don't.
Lame person understanding COVID, which is my favorite. Like, just your everyday people telling each other how life works, science. But I'm pretty sure that you can be like tested negative with COVID, but still be carrying it to give to other people.
What a surprise.
And but I do feel like at this point it seems like people want to have some kind of, I don't know, normal life. they want to go to shows.
Yeah.
And so I feel like venues are doing their, and I'm not saying that venues are doing it to make people happy. It's money. But they're doing their best to be open. So like I get artists that like come at me about requiring a vaccination card versus the COVID test.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just feel at this point, everyone is trying their best to make things safe, make things accessible for people in that, under that. And so it's hard for me to like criticize that. And I probably the more stricter that venues can be on those kind of things to keep people safe. Like, we don't know what this next variant is like.
Yeah.
We don't know what's around the corner with these things. So I think trying to be as safe as possible is the best thing that people can do right now. Like, we all would love to take our masks off and mosh and all of that, but it's just not time yet.
Yeah.
Like, it honestly, it feels like it's been forever, but it hasn't.
It hasn't. Yeah. We're still waiting for zombies, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like some people feel weird about the I don't think anyone should be forced to be vaccinated, but for like, to go to shows, I think that's fair, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially with what I do, like, I'm around on a normal week, it's at least like 3 to 5 interviews I do, and those are just interviews, and then on top of that, I have clients.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to shows and then have to go to work the next day, I don't want to risk getting anyone sick there, you know?
But it is a little weird because, you know, you're still standing right next to people you are moshing.
Yeah.
And people have their masks off on the stage.
Yeah.
And they're yelling, and half people have, you know, like the mask down below their nose, and so it seems a little silly to have masks on.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think that people are just trying their best, and it's going to be a little stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, really, we gotta wait for these zombies.
Yeah.
Well, is there? You've dropped a lot of gems today. And I'm happy that we got to meet each other.
Yeah, we went on a journey here.
Is there any final advice that you have?
Can I look at my notes?
Yeah, if there actually, we have. What time is it even? We probably have time for you to cover some notes for sure.
Let's see.
She's got a whole list.
Let's see here. No, I don't. I think we covered everything. Like, I maybe a little bit more elaborate on like the booking opportunities. Like,
yeah, actually, yeah. How do people reach out to you for booking?
Well, yeah. If you put out like my Instagram name, yeah, Lizz exists with 2 Z's, Lizz.
There we go. Is that short for anything?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. Okay.
Yeah.
You look more like a Liz.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Or a Phoebe. Oh, man.
That would no. Yeah, so my email is on my Instagram, and that's the easiest way, and I'm just more likely to respond if you send me things like obviously your band name, what you sound like, who you like playing with, what dates you're looking at, and if you pitch a bill and it looks good, it's like pretty sure that we can find a date for you, versus like trying to find a bunch of bands that are available on the same day. And if you're like an emerging artist, that gets pretty difficult, because we're still also trying to build a cohesive bill. But on the other side of that, like, there is a time where emerging artists, they say yes to a bunch of shows, just any show that comes their way.
Yeah.
And maybe you do that for a couple months. That might be good because you still need to get practice and performing live. But there's a certain point that burns bands out. And I think that it's wise to consider what your yes and no factors are to saying yes to shows. And I was given a list of 3 things, but I can never remember the 3rd thing. So it's probably on the bands to decide, but I have like, does it make you money? Is it going to be fun? Do you need to practice rehearsing your shows? And is this a good opportunity for you to do that? Are these bands that you even like? Like, do you want to stay around for the show, or are you going to leave after you play? Because it's pretty shitty, but we all do it. And do you want to do it?
Yeah.
I think that's like a pretty good list to start with. I don't think that bands should be saying yes to everything. And especially if you're a new band, people are not going to come out and see you every time that you're playing. So you want to space your shows out. Usually venues have a requirement for it to be 30 days, but I don't think most bands follow that, especially right now, because no one's really touring.
Yeah.
So bands are kind of overplaying in the city.
Because we don't know if we're going to... I don't think we're going to another lockdown, but
yeah,
we don't know if we have to, stop doing live shows eventually. Who knows?
Yeah. But I guess to put out a little plug for these 2 venues that I'm booking at right now.
Yeah.
Darrell's Tavern. It's up in Shoreline. It, like I said, punk, rock, glam. Really almost anything, though. It kind of feels like you're stuck in the 70s up there. But free parking.
Ooh.
Right off Aurora Ave, and you get 100% of the door. We make the poster for you. Brennan Mooring from Sea Life has been helping me out with those posters, so they look awesome.
Hell yeah.
And at Timbre Room, we book all kinds, but I do try to keep the set smaller because that stage is pretty small. And it has like more of a Pacific Northwest vibe inside with a bunch of fake plants all over the place. And we do 100% at the door. That's not for forever probably, but for right now it is. And you get free slices of pizza when you promote your show. And we book on Wednesdays and early weekend nights there at Darrell's Friday and Saturday. So yeah, come book a show with me.
Hell yeah. This has been the NAST podcast with
Lizz Slabaugh.
We did it.